Keep in mind that when you're having a conversation with your boss, you're really addressing fear. And fear, self-doubt, insecurities can be very powerful reactionaries. And what I mean by that is that the thought of failing as a leader, or failing to produce results, or the fear of being replaced by someone else can be very powerful drivers for anyone. And that's why you need to use your emotional intelligence to find out what are the areas of fear that your boss have. When you are able to identify the areas of fear, then you can work on the concerns that they will tell you in order to develop trust. Because trust ultimately is the strongest weapon against any kind of fear. Since micromanaging occurs due to a lack of trust, then what you need to do is to be able to establish trust with your boss. And that means you need to be able to understand what are the expectations that your boss have and then address them. In this way, you build trust, which eventually gives you more freedom and flexibility in your job. One of the best ways to manage expectations is to first understand what they are. And then the next step is to take all the necessary actions to achieve them. And the third very important step is to ensure that you regularly update your boss on everything that you're going to do. It sounds like it's going to take a lot of time and effort, which you might be thinking is better off spent doing your work. But trust me on this when I say that when you provide enough information to your boss, provide enough updates to them, then they know where you are, and you are then not giving their fear of lack of information run rampant in their head. This allows you to build trust, which in turn gives you that freedom and flexibility that you want in your job. It's important to remember here that ultimately you are a leader yourself, and you need to be proactive when it comes to managing your boss, updating them on what's happening with your work. Even when you start to get more freedom and flexibility, continue to have those regular updates with your boss. Make them feel assured. Address the fear that they have. Only when they tell you that they're comfortable with less updates, do you then do so. Even if you're frustrated with your boss and the situation that you're in, can you really change your boss? Not really. But what you can do is to take ownership and be proactive about doing what you can to change the situation that you are currently in. That's much better than trying to blame your boss. Taking ownership means initiating that conversation with your boss to find out what you need to do in order to gain their trust so that you will be micromanaged less and you have more freedom and flexibility in the work that you do. Taking ownership as a leader means giving your boss that peace of mind that you will be able to deliver the desired results consistently. So let's put together all the leadership traits that I previously mentioned in order to deal with a difficult boss who doesn't trust you or who micromanages you. When you're dealing with a difficult boss who micromanages or who doesn't trust you, you need to realize that what you're dealing with is actually fear, self-doubt, and insecurity. And so while you may not be able to change your boss, you can actually take action to address the fears that your boss have. And being difficult or micromanaging is usually a symptom of fear. Importantly, rather than just being passive about the situation that you're in, you need to take action. Take ownership and be proactive about what you can do to improve the situation that you're currently in. And that means having an open and honest conversation with your boss about the areas in which you are being micromanaged or the perceptions, and going in there with specific examples. Also talking about what you can do to improve aspects of your work so that you can be micromanaged less, you can gain more trust, and have more freedom and flexibility to do your job. That means you have to be curious and start asking those insightful questions and listening to what your boss has to say, getting to know them, understanding their leadership approach, understand what are their expectations and what you can do to gain their trust. So while you may not be in charge of the team, you are a leader nonetheless. And that means that you need to exercise your emotional intelligence going into the conversation, going into the work that you do every day, and understand the perspective that your boss is coming from and that they may be reacting from a position of fear. And one of the things that you need to do is to understand the expectations of your boss so that you can proactively take steps to meet them and eventually gain the trust, freedom, and flexibility that you want in your work. It's important to put certain things into perspective. Let's say that you've done what you can to try to manage the situation that you're currently in. You can't change your boss, and they may be a really toxic person with a lot of internal issues going on. Do remember that leaving your job is still an option. Life is too short to be miserable working for a difficult boss. You can always take your skills elsewhere. It is entirely your choice to take all the actions that I have mentioned in this video. Ultimately, you are a leader responsible for your own work, and you got to be proactive about changing the situation that you are in. And if you are able to gain the trust of your boss and achieve more freedom and flexibility in your job, then by all measures, that is an outstanding achievement. If you enjoyed this video so far, really appreciate if you give me the thumbs up. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you have yet to subscribe to First Time Leadership, do click on that subscribe button to be notified of when new videos come out to help you with your leadership journey. And lastly, if you have any comments about what I've shared in this video, do share a comment below. I hope that the leadership traits that I've shared in this video will help you to answer the question of how to deal with a difficult boss. In any case, my name is Daniel Lee from First Time Leadership. I look forward to speaking with you soon.